Shalom family, welcome brothers and sisters. So I know it's been a while since I've been on my channel, so I wanted to do this broadcast, and I'm going to try to keep it short. This is just a continuation of my word study program that I did a couple weeks, well, I want to say maybe a couple months ago, and I want to pick it up where I left off here. And what I'm going to be doing over time is I am going to take some verses from the scriptures and actually translate them, or rather not say translate them, but rather restore them to the original text, the ancient Shemitic language of our people, so that you may gain a better comprehension, more clarification of what these prophecies actually mean in our language, not in the English language, because we still have a lot of our people out here doing some really nice videos, very well produced videos. However, where the missing link is their, I hate to say it, but their failure to comprehend the language in the ancient Shemitic. And they keep trying to, interpret the language in English as if they're going to gain any understanding and help you to understand what it means. And really, in order for them to really comprehend what they're reading, one of these days they're going to have to learn the language of our people. Otherwise, they're just going to be continuing to dig for lost treasure using the wrong shovel. So having said that, let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm kind of going to do this, I'm going to do it a little differently today, and I'm actually going to give you the translation of this particular verse in the Western Shemitic, what it actually means in our language, and then I'll give you the quick breakdown of what it actually means in the ancient Shemitic, each word. So first I'm going to read it in English here, and many people read this and they interpret this that this actually means this means exactly the picture. What this picture is showing you here is that it's all about Rome and the Vatican, but I'm just going to read it here. It says, and this is Revelation chapter 17 verse 4, it says, "And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color." So again, when most people read this, their interpretation of it, again, this is coming from Christianity, it's about the Vatican and the church. Well, is that what it really means? Let's find out. So I'm just going to tell you exactly what it means in the ancient Shemitic. In our language, restored, it actually means that it says here that the Gentiles will be cast away and judged, and this is giving you the locale, the location, the Gentiles in Europe, and then also the ones from the Caucasus. So it's telling you that the Gentiles that are from Europe and the Caucasus, and that would include, yes, Rome, as they like to put it, the Catholic Church, the Vatican, Rome, but it also means the location, the Caucasus. So that's everyone, not just Rome, but yes, it does include Rome. They will be judged and will come to their destruction. So to give you the breakdown of that here, so let's look at this word here, woman. Now, typically they tell you in Christianity that the woman is the whore of Babylon, and that whore of Babylon is the Vatican. But that, there's some truth to it, naturally, but that's not what this word means. It actually means not necessarily the whore of Babylon, but if you think of the whore of Babylon, you could say, yeah, sure, the Catholic Church, but it goes much deeper than that. The woman actually is referring to Gentiles. And I'm actually going to give you this translation. We're going to go kind of back and forth, but mostly in this particular lecture, I'm going to translate this from the Greek text that it was translated from. So if we go and look at this in the, actually just pulled it up here, the same verse, and as you can see, pretty much everything in the New Testament has been translated from the Greek. So I'm just going to give you the breakdown in Greek, because what is so really interesting about, once you comprehend our language and you learn our language, there's really no language that you will not be able to translate, because all of the languages on the planet derive from the ancient language of our people, the Western Shemitic. So if we look at that word, for example, woman, and again, I'm just giving you the translation, I'm just going to break it down from the Greek. I don't even need to look at the ancient Shemitic, because I can look at it from the Greek language, the Greek text, and essentially I can look at it and pull, the Shemitic roots right out of the Greek. Because remember, from Greek, let's put it this way, Greek derives from ancient Hebrew. So let's just keep that in mind. So if we look at this word woman, in Greek, it's telling you the word means gene, and that word, essentially, if you look at the two literal root in the ancient Shemitic, that word is Goya, or the plural, Goyim. And Goyim or Goya, it just essentially means what? It means foreign or Gentile, stranger. So it's the same root, same Shemitic root that you have in the Greek. And then we can even look further, and if you take the whole word itself, that word's just a play on the word jinn. If you if you look at the the trilateral root, it's jinn, and you also find that same word in the root of the word for Gentile in English. So let's take a look at the other word here. So it says was arrayed. So this word arrayed, let's take a look at that one. If we go and look at that word in the Greek, it's telling you the word in Greek is parabolo. And I can just look at this word and break it down in the Shemitic. Well, if you look at the prefix of the word, you get para in the Shemitic language of our people. And then if you look at the suffix, you get balo or bala in our language. So if we just look at that the first half of it, para, well, that's telling you what? That's a play on the word for Europa or Europa. And then bala or balo, same word, derives from, it just describes one's what? Paleness. So it's telling you that the word essentially is identifying the people. Europe. And then let's take a look at the other word. The other word, and they say this is interesting what they did here when they translated, because in Greek, they use Greek to hide a lot of things. So if you look at this word, arrayed, and it says in purple. Well, if you look at this word, same breakdown here, para, you get the prefix para for Europa, and then the same word here, the suffix pala in our language. Now notice that word purple is the same word here. They give you the same word. They give you the same word in Greek. Now how ironic is that? Now do you think that's a coincidence? There's no coincidence. They deliberately coded it that way. Same word, parabalo, and purple. Same words, play on the same word, brothers and sisters. So that's how they did it, but yet they told you in Greek it means porphyra. Okay, but if you look at it in Greek, this word that they give you, it's the same word, because it's telling you para, same root. In the prefix, and then phira, in our language, no F sound, just a P sound, the pa letter, you get para, as in Europa. So it's giving you play on the same word. But they play with the rules of the language, so. It's interesting there. And then this word here, scarlet. Let's take a look at that word here. So if we look at this word scarlet in our language, it's telling you, or excuse me, scarlet in the Greek, it's telling you the word is cockiness. But if we take now, remember the prefix here is cock. So if we go and look at this word, and let's take a look at that word in the Shemitic, or they are referred to as Hebrew. So if we look at that word here, it's telling you it's shani, and also means tola. But notice they give you the word in English, crimson. It's like another word for red, right? But what's interesting is in this word, I'm going to get a little bit, I'm going to delve a little deeper into that word in another video where I'm going to do another word study on another verse where I think it'll give you a lot more clarification on this word and where that word derives from. But we're not going to talk about that one today. I'm not going to get into that right now. But what's interesting is it tells you that the word derives from an insect by the name Coccus ilicis, and this is some sort of scarlet colored worm. And notice it's a, they say that it's a scarlet colored worm, a red worm essentially, but that worm, that word worm, I think I covered that in another video. That's a play on the word for Rome, so that's interesting. But if you look at the prefix of this word, you get cock, and you've heard that prefix in the word Caucasus, as in Caucasus Mountains or Caucasian. So it's essentially identifying the people. And they give you this, little wordplay here for a little worm, but that's what the word actually means. Okay, so let's take a look here. I thought that was very interesting. And then if you need further clarification on that, all we have to do is go back and look at this word in Greek, kokinos. And if you look at, remember, the prefix of the word is kok. Now notice how they changed the spelling on it, and they spell it with a K instead of how they spelled it over here with a C. But if you look at the word, it is the same prefix, kok, just like it is over in the Greek. It's the same prefix, and that's how you know. So let's take a look at the word here, color. Now, what I find is very interesting here is if you look at it in Greek, they combine both of these words. They give you rather one meaning or one word for both words here. But again, they use Greek to hide information. So I'm going to give you the breakdown here in that for that word color in the ancient Shemitic. So if we look at that word color here, we get, it's interesting, the same word here, tala, is just spelled a little different, but that really doesn't give us a lot of information. So what we need to do is actually go back to the actual word that it originates from. In our language, it originates from the word kala. Okay, so if we look it up, that word here, we get, and we look up that word kala in our language, and remember the K sound is the same as the C sound. They play with the rules of the language, but it is essentially the same word. In our language, that word means what? To end. To bring to an end, finish, destroy. It also means destruction. So that's your word. Again, derives from the Shemitic word kala. And here they tell you it's a primitive root, but as you can see, where the word derives from. And so it's interesting how they did not give you a separate actual meaning of the word in our language. They just hid it and just gave you this one word where it just means a lot more than that. And that's why it's really important to do your research and really restore the text back to its original Shemitic, the ancient Shemitic language, because you get a much deeper meaning and much more clarification than you will ever get in the mistranslated version that we get in, the English version. And that's why I really stress our people to begin to go back and restore the language. And we have to stop reading and interpreting, like they do in, those Bauhauses in Christianity. We have to stop. Even our community, our people have got to stop interpreting it in English, because you will never gain any understanding that way. And these are the people who are putting out videos who just lack the understanding and just don't know the language. Even if it's, take a couple of months off and take some time to learn the ancient Shemitic language and then come back to your channel, because I think if we all do that, you can just bring so much more clarity to the message, to our community, and help our people to really comprehend what they're reading. But in order to do that, the people that are out here teaching have got to begin learning the language. It's so critical. But anyway, that's pretty much it, and that's what this actual verse means. It's telling you exactly what I had stated, that there will be judgment on the woman who happens to be Gentile, and this is where the Gentile derives from, the Gentile in Europe. It identifies them in the Caucasus, and they will come to an end in utter destruction. And that's what this verse actually means. It doesn't, just mean Rome. It's not really all about Rome. It is identifying who these people are in this verse, period. And see, this is where, they show you these pictures, and then this is where you get your understanding from. This is all coming from Christianity, but it is a false teaching. It is a false narrative. It is not just about Rome. So again, in order to understand that, we have to go back and restore the text, restore the language of our ancestors in our writings. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm actually working on another video that I'm hoping to have maybe done and completed in the next week or two, that is going to talk a little bit more about our history, and I hope you enjoy that as well. So thanks for watching and tuning in, and may the Most High continue to awaken the Shemitic mind within. Shalom.
Due to unfavorable financial condition, I am unable to cope with this financial situation. It's causing an inflation upon creation. I can't stand this no longer. The wicked get stronger. I can't stand this no longer, cause the battle is getting hotter. But them have to get a beating. The wicked have to get a beating, yeah. They must get a beating, yeah. The wicked have to get a beating, yeah. Now that you waited till your back is against the wall, one step to progress, my brother, and I know Jah will help you all. They get a beating, Lord. They must get a beating, yeah. They have to get a beating, that's it. And them can't get away. I can't stand this no longer. The wicked get stronger. I can't stand this no longer, cause even cockroach get enough. Me say them have to get a beating, yeah. They must get a beating, Lord. They have to get a beating, yeah. better